So welcome. We're working with Matt Darcy's Iron Maiden series of Digitsu, and if you want to see more of this stuff, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and we'll work through as much as we can on the series. Now, pretty much the whole series that Matt Darcy does on this Digitsu works really well for the dummy. So again, if you're like me and you're in quarantine and you don't have a grappling pod, all you have is this dude, pick up Matt Darcy's stuff. Welcome back. We're going to continue on with the back control that Matt Darcy is doing from his Iron Maiden series that he did on Digitsu. You can find that on the app or on the webpage. I really like the system. I've been using for a while, and since I'm working in quarantine primarily, I got a dummy. It works well for doing reps on the dummy. So I try to keep this short and sweet. You have to realize when you're working with a dummy, you have to understand what this person is actually going to do, because the dummy's not responding. So sometimes the videos take a little bit longer. Typically, if I had someone who was responding, a real person, videos could probably be, a minute or two. But since I have to do the role of both, it becomes a little more challenging. So this move is still continuing on what Matt Darcy's calling the D.O.D, or the Dances with Death. It's a belly, essentially it's a belly down moves. And he's calling this a reverse guillotine, and you can see why. I'll explain it when we get there, right? So what he's gonna do is he's gonna get on the back. You have a hook in, you have your harness control, you're cheek to cheek, you're stabbing the chest, like he's like to say, you stab chest, cover the mess. You're attacking high. He's not having it low, he's having it up nice and high. What happens then is you fall to what he's calling the overhook side. So you fall to the overhook side, maybe you can get this hook in, maybe you can't. Maybe they defend this way. We've talked about this already. If they defend this way, we just come over the hip and we close and we clamp like a clam, right? So it's a clamp guard. We have it closed on here. We have the harness control, and we're fighting in here. Now, anytime they're not defending their neck, or their neck is exposed, we go to choke it. Anytime we go to choke, at times their right hand's gonna come up and try to defend and grab my right hand wrist, try to pull it down. They wanna try to pull it down to their hip, and then from here, they can turn their back and escape. Again, we addressed that already. So when they grab my hand, I'm going to just pull back a little bit, pull out of this, pull, then you grab, punch it down, and then you pass it off the other hand. Now again, as you do that motion, his neck, if he's not defending his neck, you're attacking it. Remember that, always be attacking the neck. Do something in there to elicit this reaction. The reaction is this hand comes up to defend. As it's coming up, you intercept it, and now you have we're in the Iron Maiden on the overhook side. Some people call this the straight jacket. From here, we're gonna get this hook in. In order to do our belly down, or the D.O.D, we gotta get our hook in. So as we're in this position, we clamp down, and then we arch back. As we arch back, we get our hook in. Boom. Now the D.O.D, or the belly down, we wanna pull on this bottom arm to keep them from posting here. So as we post here, we can slide our elbow out and up to our elbow. We wanna get up to our hand to get a little bit more height, a little more leverage to bridge into them. And now what they're gonna do is they're face down. All right? Now this reverse guillotine, or kind of reverse marcellotine, is done in this way. Sometimes you go to get your hand, he has a little choking tool where he puts a little spike on it, and he puts it in the side of the neck. And then a lot of times it's uncomfortable, and what they do is they kind of move their neck and get it through, but you can't get it all the way across to get this nice rear naked choke, but you can get it in halfway, or a little bit better than halfway, but you can't get it deep enough. So what he does is he takes an S grip, and then he takes his forearm and puts it over the back. Now it's similar to the Marcellitine, where Marcellitine is getting the guillotine in here, and he's taking his hand here, and he's bringing it up over. You know, he'll get his hands in here and bring this over, so they can't defend. If you just get in a regular guillotine here, they'll take the arm and put it over your back. That's their defense, right? So if you get in this motion, S grip, and you put it over the back, he can't defend, and then now you have the Marcellitine. It's similar to this reverse guillotine that Matt Darcy is doing from the D.O.D, or the belly down, right? So you get a hook in, you get the hard grip, cheek to cheek. You fall over the side, you go to get your hook in, but he puts his leg over, right? I'm not worried about that right now, because I'm gonna go and choke. If I go to choke, he's gonna defend and go one-on-one. His right hand against my right hand. I pull, punch, and pass it to my left hand. I'm gonna go to choke, he's gonna come up with his left hand, I intercept. And now I just kind of hold him here, right? Now I'm gonna get my hook in. I clamp my knees together, squeeze, and arch back, slide the heel in, and now I have established, if we're doing points, it's 4 points, right? Pull his right hand, I pull my left hand, pull his right arm up so he can't post there. I'm gonna come up to my elbow, I'm gonna scoot back just a little bit. I come up to my elbow and up to my hand. Now what it does is it gives me a post, so if he's pushing into me, or doing whatever, I can post in here and push back. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bridge my hips into him like I'm doing a hip bump sweep, and I turn him over. Boom. Still holding on this hand. Now I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push my hips into him and bridge. Sometimes you can get your hand all the way across, and you can get in this rear naked choke. More often than not, your hand only goes so deep. And sometimes you can't even get there because he's got his chin down. So you do is put a little spike on your thumb, and you dive it in. Otherwise, I do this kind of knife hand, and I slide it across. And sometimes it only goes this far. You get this S grip, and you do that kind of reverse guillotine, or reverse Marcellitine, and you put it over his back in here. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring your shoulder to the back of his neck, and your elbow up. And you get that rear naked choke, or that reverse guillotine, I'm sorry. Right? So one time without talking.